She's got ribbons and paper, a cauldron of glue. With every creation, she's spooking the crew. The black cats purr and the witches all cheer for the magic she spins this time of year. Oh, Indiana Jones, you're the talk of the night, with your Halloween craft shining so bright. Bats and spiders and a ghostly delight. Indiana Jones keeps the season just right.
Welcome to my channel, Crafting with me, Indiana Jones, and welcome to Juneoween. Myself and many talented, wonderful friends have joined together to create this summer playlist to get you inspired to start creating for Halloween. So as you're watching everybody putting stuff on their shelves, think of things that you can make yourself. Let's get started. What's better than creating your own Halloween countdown using an advent calendar that I picked up actually from Hobby Lobby during the Christmas break. During the Christmas clearance, after the Christmas break. But of course, there's only 25 little boxes, so I needed to add more boxes. And I found, not only did I find a little black cat, but I found those little drawers at the Dollar Tree, and there were exactly 6. 6 plus 25 gives me 31, which is perfect, right, Kudu? It's my little black cat, Kudu. But of course, I can't add them just like this. I have to fix them up a little bit. And I'm going to excuse myself or ask for your forgiveness because I am a little stuffy. I'm just getting over a really bad flu and I'm still getting through it, but you know, things could be worse, and I'm just glad that I'm on the mend. I'm on the better side of this illness, of this sickness. So I'm just very thankful that I'm getting better. And so all I'm doing here is using my craft paint, and what I'm using here is Folk Art matte black paint. I think it's fantastic to work on shiny surfaces like the paper of these little boxes from the Dollar Tree. So altogether I spent, I think it was $2.59, I think, for the advent calendar because it was 90% off. Can't believe that was $25 originally. And these 3 little items, which was what, $1.25, $1.25. So it's $3.75. $3.75. There you go. So that plus it was $6. Okay, let's just say it was $6. I don't want to calculate too much. Anyway, paint away. As you see here. Now, you might already see these advent calendars on sale. Yes, I have already seen some of these on sale at Hobby Lobby. But if not, you can always create your own way of, counting the days until Halloween, especially if you have like one that has 31, it's perfect. You can give yourself a little surprise each and every day. Now, I'm not saying that you have to give yourself a little bit of candy or anything like that, but I am very curious to create some items that I'm going to put in these little boxes, and I'll share that with you in my next video, so stay tuned to see what I'm going to put in each of these little boxes. Now, I am blessed with many papers for Halloween. As you can see, here is my little stash. I also have my grabby box from last year, and my friend Giselle just gave me that wonderful little packet of like a pinky kind of Halloween. So there are many things that I can use to decorate this advent calendar. You can also look up for vintage Halloween art from graphicsfairy.com, and I will keep a little link for that down below. So I have to tell you that while I was sick, having chicken soup and having tea and all that stuff and Theraflu and what have you, I took great delight in creating this, and I will tell you why. Because once I cut out all the little pieces, I sat in my recliner, watched some silly Hallmark movies, some of them about autumn already, and just relaxed and crafted. So here I'm just putting together all the little bits and pieces that I'm going to use and gathering them together, and then I'm going to actually sit down and glue them all while I'm enjoying and relaxing and trying to heal as I get better, right? So once I have all of my papers ready to go, then I'm going to glue them on. I would always tell you to plan before so that you can see what it's going to look like before you start gluing. Once I've finished all the little boxes, now I'm going to decorate the top of this haunted house or haunted mansion calendar for Halloween. And here I'm using some glue sticks to actually levitate that little ghost. And the same for the little girl. I tried to push her out a little bit so she's not all the way down at the bottom of that house, so you can see her better. I'm using the same trick with glue sticks to add this little fence or this little gate, like a wrought iron gate that I had within my stickers from Dollar Tree. And this worked out so well, and I could place a little wrought iron, and it looks really, really cute with the little girl there, the spooky little girl. I'm adding these cute little Halloween banners that I actually found for $1 at Michael's not too long ago. So if you go, you'll probably find it. And it's usually like at the front with all their like lower priced items. And it had all of these 3 banners. So if you can make use of this, I think it's a great idea to go. And literally for just $1, it's so cute to have these little embellishments around, especially as you prepare to decorate for the Halloween season. And with that, my little house is done, and I am ready to start counting down to the happy Halloween day that's just ahead. But there's still much more crafting to be done before then. Now, because I was so sick, I did decide to go to the Dollar Tree and get some things like some soup and Gatorade and tissue paper, and I was very cautious. I wore a mask. I went when the store was empty. I didn't want to get anybody sick. But I did find these cute little houses. These are the fairy houses, the little fairy garden houses they had. And to me, they seemed very appropriate for Halloween. I don't know about you, but I thought this would be perfect to create 3 little cottages for 3 funny little witches. And of course they're good witches. Some of them have a little bit of a mean streak, but nothing too wicked, you know? So this I thought would be a perfect little garden witch, kind of like a cottage witch, a cottagecore witch. And I just changed the paint on it from gray to that forest green and brown on top, and lightened up the windows as well. Now this one, I thought this was more of a kind of a very proper older witch, you know, maybe a middle-aged, more wise witch, and she's a little more traditional. So we kept with traditional colors such as the black and orange you'll see in a moment. But look at the shape of these little houses. I thought they were just so pretty. And I've seen people take little, you know, the little Halloween houses, the plastic ones or these ceramic ones, and just paint them black. But I think it's so much more fun. And I can tell you, while I was sick and at night, I was just like, oh, I don't want to watch any more TV. And I literally just sat and painted and took my time enjoying the process instead of rushing through it. It looks like I'm rushing through it because I sped the process up just so that it would be, you know, faster for you to see. It's not that interesting to watch somebody paint. I don't know if they're painting a painting, yes, but painting a little house, I don't know, maybe, who knows. So I'm just enjoying every moment of painting these little cottages and coming up with ideas of what these witches would look like. At one point, I did find these mini tiny little Barbies at the dollar store, and I thought they would be the perfect size, but they didn't. They're almost as tall as the houses. I mean, they wouldn't fit through the door. They could fit in the house, but they wouldn't fit through the door. So I don't know. Maybe I will add them to my little village, because this isn't just, I'm going to paint these little houses. I'm actually going to create a little village for them. So now this is the last little house, and I decided to paint it purple because this is a wacky little house for a wacky little witch. She's a little plump and cute, a little scattered-brained, and she's a lot of fun. But she's also a little meddlesome because she likes to listen to town gossip, and she also likes to meddle in people's love lives, and she creates, love potions but gives them to the wrong people, and the wrong people fall in love, and she just makes a mess of things. And of course, the little garden witch, or the cottage fairy kind of forest witch, she's very zen, and she's very, she uses holistic ways of healing people and curing people, and makes special lovely teas. And the stern witch, well, she's very adept at spells and casting her magic, sometimes for good and sometimes for not so good. She's a little bit of a mean girl kind of witch in all the best ways. And here I created my little village. So I'm just using styrofoam that I had around the house, and I decided that I wanted to create a little campfire. Well, not really a campfire, because this is where they have their cauldrons and stuff, but I am using the folk art plastic paint here to cover the plastic. It works really, really well. Just one coat, fantastic. And that's going to be my fire. There are the little Barbies, if you can see them right underneath. Now, I added my moss. I didn't go through the whole process of showing you that, but I added my moss using a little bit of Mod Podge, and like crinkling up the moss, like, just using the little shavings, so it wasn't like big mounds of moss everywhere. For the tea light, what I did was I added little twigs to make it look like a fire, and it looks so cute when you light it up. And it's perfect. If you ever have to create a little village, remember to do this, because it just adds such a little bit of character for the little village that I'm creating here. Lastly, the witch's village needed a large, ginormous cat. No, I'm just kidding. It needed some foliage, so I've used a combination of some twigs and branches that I found outside with some little leaves that were actually orange that I found around my backyard, believe it or not, and those lovely little pieces of some flowers or some greenery that I had from last year. I used it to create little autumny bushes, and I really think this little village has really come to life. I've put little staircases in front of each house, and in front of the purple one, as you'll notice, I have a little bridge, and under the bridge I actually created a little moat. Now, because I'm starting to work with UV resin in particular, I decided to add a little bit of a water feature right under that bridge, and all I did was dig out a little bit of the styrofoam, paint it the underneath blue just so I'd have that hue, and I also added some of the blue coloring to the UV resin itself. I cured it with the UV light, and ta-da! I have a little water feature in my little garden, or in my little witch's village. I hope you like the way it turned out, and I'll add some more lighting later in the final reveal. Now, I've used my Creality Falcon in another video, and this time I wanted to show how advantageous it is to have a laser cutter such as this off season, when it's so hard to find any kind of crafting materials or crafting inspirations. You can create your own with the Creality Falcon. And yes, I'm plugging them because I really am so happy with this machine. I wish I had more time and more opportunities to use it. I've used it a lot for many of the events that I have at work, but it is so convenient. I saw this kind of craft or this kind of project on Instagram. I immediately wanted to have a little web, a little wooden web that I can create for myself. Now, I created two sizes, and you'll see how differently I use both of these little webs in my decor. And again, I just think it's so convenient. And if I didn't have my Hobby Lobby advent calendar, I could probably create one with my laser cutter, such as the Creality Falcon. What I love about it is that it's pretty convenient, compact, and very, very fast, and very, very quiet. It's fantastic. And it really was so nice just to create like my own little spider. And I didn't have to even look for anything. I use Canva now, and I create my own designs using Canva. It's so easy. All I have to do is save the file as an SVG, and I can create my own items. Here, I'm actually cutting out a few little pumpkins with some cute little faces. And I thought I was going to have time to use these this week, but I'll have to use it for next week. So please stay tuned to see what I do with these cute little pumpkin jack-o'-lantern faces. Now I've painted the web and I've painted the spider black, but I thought this spider needed a little glamming up. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Using some Mod Podge and some of my black glitter that I had in my stash, I'm just going to glitterify this adorable little spider. It's kind of spooky. The legs are kind of creepy, but I kind of like it like that. And now I'm just adding the glitter, and then later on I do add a little bit of hairspray on top because it helps the glitter from falling all over the place. And I'm trying to be very, very cautious with my glitter because of my kitty cats, and also because of the mess it makes around the house. You know, they say glitter is, it's everywhere once you start working with it. And I also had this little sparkle pen, so I added a little sparkle to the web itself. And now I'm just going to add my beautiful little spider, and now I can have this for any corner window or even for my doors. So any doorways that I have, I can add this little corner and embellishment, and it's just a cute little way to add a little bit of Halloween magic to the smaller spaces. And again, very easy and convenient to store. I'm thinking about that as well as I create things, how to store them afterwards. Now here's my second little spider web, and I'm going to be using some resin tape because I want to make this into a stained glass spider web. I think I've done the stained glass project a couple of weeks ago, and so I just was inspired by that to create something like this. And I just wanted to do a smaller scale to begin with, and then experiment with a larger scale project further down the road, because I think this would be so beautiful to have at the corner of a window and just have beautiful colors streaming through during the October season. So here I am adding this resin tape, and it's supposed to keep all of the resin inside the mold without getting sticky. I'm using UV resin, and I'm also using my gloves and my protective mask, especially since I am not feeling well. I don't want to exacerbate any kind of respiratory problems or anything like that. Not that the resin smells in any way, but it's just a protective measure that you should always take when working with resin. I mix the resin with some UV resin colorant, and it's like some dye for resin, specifically for resin. And I've also included what they call interference, and it's like, how can I say it? It's like pearlescence. It adds a bit of pearlescence to your project. So this, once it cures, it has this pearly, glowy kind of look. So imagine when the sun peeks through, and this is going to be like a sun catcher that I can hang from my kitchen window, let's say, and I think it'll look so cute. And I want to add some little crystal teardrops to the bottom of that web, and I think it'll look so pretty. So now I'm just going to add different Halloweeny colors like orange and like green, and just some sections that are going to be clear. And all I have to do is mix the colors, again adding a little bit of that pearlescence, and then curing it under the UV light. I apologize if my voice gets a little stuffy, but I am just enjoying sharing these with you. I believe me, I have not been that inspired to do anything, but when I sit down to craft, it really truly makes me feel so much better. So I was looking forward to making these for my video. I also want to address the fact that some people said I was starting Halloween way too early, and I have to say that yes, it may seem that way if you're just a consumer, but if you're creating projects and if you're creating inspiration, a lot of people start crafting for Halloween in August, and I have to get started because I also have crafting for Christmas in July, as well as many projects for my Deering estate decorating that starts right after Halloween. So I have to be ready in early November. So I hope you enjoy this early Halloween crafting video, and I hope you like the way that stained glass web came out, and hopefully I can make it in a larger scale. Thank you to all my friends who joined me in this June-o-ween playlist. There are so many crafters and creators that I love and admire, and they've joined me today. So please check out each one of their channels, like, share, and subscribe their videos as well. I hope you're inspired to make things yourself instead of pulling it off the shelf. Thanks again for stopping by, and if you enjoyed this, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. But most importantly, remember to stay safe, be kind, God bless each and every one of you, and live the adventure. And I'll see you again with my next Halloween adventure very, very soon.